Silence is often misunderstood. We are taught to fear it, to escape it, to fill it with noise, voices, scrolling, and endless distractions. But what if silence is not empty at all? What if silence is the place where your real voice has been waiting all along? In a world that never stops talking, silence becomes rare, powerful, and even uncomfortable. Yet, it is in those quiet moments that something extraordinary begins to happen inside you. When silence speaks loudest, it does not shout. It whispers truths you have been avoiding. It gently removes the masks you wear for the world and places a mirror in front of your soul. In the absence of noise, there is no audience to impress, no expectations to meet, no roles to perform. There is only you, raw, honest, and real. And that is where self-discovery truly begins. Think about how often your mind is busy reacting. Reacting to opinions, to pressure, to comparisons, to fear. Noise keeps you running, but silence invites you to stop. And when you stop, you begin to feel. You begin to notice the thoughts you have been pushing away. You hear the questions you've been afraid to ask yourself. Who am I when no one is watching? What do I actually want? What part of me have I been ignoring? Silence does not judge you. It does not rush you. It simply holds space. In that space, your inner voice slowly rises, not loud, not dramatic, but honest. It speaks in clarity, not chaos. It reminds you of dreams you once had before the world told you to be practical. It reminds you of values you compromised to fit in. It reminds you of your strength, your resilience, and your quiet courage. Many people think confidence is loud. They think strength must announce itself. But true strength is calm. True confidence does not need validation. It comes from knowing yourself deeply, and that knowing is born in silence. When you sit alone with your thoughts, without escaping them, you begin to understand your emotional patterns. You see what drains you and what gives you life. You recognize what belongs to you and what you've been carrying for others. Silence teaches patience. At first, it feels uncomfortable, even heavy. Your mind may replay old memories, regrets, or fears. But if you stay, if you don't run, something shifts. The noise settles. The chaos slows down. And clarity begins to emerge. You start hearing answers that were always there, buried under distraction. In quiet moments, you realize you don't need to have everything figured out right now. You learn to breathe again, deeply and honestly. You begin to trust the process of becoming. Silence teaches you that growth doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes growth looks like stillness. Sometimes healing looks like rest. Sometimes strength looks like choosing not to react. There is a certain kind of wisdom that only silence can give. It helps you observe instead of react. It helps you respond instead of explode. It gives you the ability to pause before making decisions that shape your future. In silence, your intuition becomes louder. You start recognizing when something feels right or wrong, even if you can't explain why. This is where you reconnect with your true self, not the version shaped by expectations, but the one shaped by purpose. The one that knows what matters. The one that doesn't need approval to feel whole. Silence strips away illusions and brings you back to essence. It reminds you that your worth does not depend on productivity, popularity, or perfection. When you allow silence into your life, you begin to see the world differently. You listen more deeply. You speak more intentionally. You choose your words with care because you understand their power. You become more present in conversations, more aware of emotions, more grounded in your decisions. Silence also teaches acceptance. Acceptance of your past, your mistakes, your unfinished chapters. It helps you forgive yourself for not knowing what you know now. In quiet reflection, you realize that every version of you was doing the best it could at the time. This realization brings peace, a soft, steady peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. In those quiet moments, you may feel small, but not insignificant. You feel connected, to your breath, to your thoughts, to something deeper. You begin to understand that you don't need to chase meaning endlessly. Meaning reveals itself when you slow down enough to notice it. Silence becomes a teacher, a gentle one. It teaches you how to listen inward before listening outward. It teaches you that answers don't always come in words. Sometimes they come as feelings, clarity, or calm certainty. It teaches you to trust yourself again. And as you continue to sit with silence, something beautiful happens. You start to recognize your own voice. Not the one shaped by fear or pressure, but the one shaped by truth. That voice becomes your compass. It guides your choices, your boundaries, your direction. It helps you say no without guilt and yes with confidence. This is where transformation begins. Not in noise, not in chaos, but in stillness. In those quiet moments where nothing seems to be happening, yet everything is changing. Where you stop searching outside and start listening within. Where you stop performing and start becoming. Silence speaks loudest when you finally allow it to. And when you listen, you don't just hear it, you understand it. You understand yourself. And that understanding becomes the foundation for everything that comes next.